What's going on, wrestling family? Welcome back to the channel. So in honor of Throwback Thursday, some of us is about to feel old. I just want to let you guys know that. We're going to check out this video from Maven. It's called The Real Story of the Final WWF Show. Now, the reason why I picked this video, I know most of us are familiar with this whole story and everything that happened here, but some people who watch my channel may not know what happened at that time. They may not even been around when that happened. So hopefully they can learn something new, and maybe for us who already know everything about this, maybe we'll learn something new from Maven that we didn't know before. But before we get started, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Let's get into this.
On May 5th, 2002, history was made as the WWF would hold its last
Stacy.
show, becoming the WWE.
Nigeria.
And that event was held here at the DCU Center in Worcester, Massachusetts, formerly known as the Centrum. And I was lucky enough to be on that final show.
Hey, Maven is killing it in the YouTube game. I mean, who would have known the winner of Tough Enough Season 1 would be killing it on this side of wrestling, bro? It's crazy. It's dope, though. I like it.
For those of you who aren't familiar with the name change, the World Wildlife Fund actually had the legal right to the acronym WWF.
Yeah.
However, at the time, WWF.com took you to a wrestling site, and this was not acceptable from the World Wildlife Fund. They wanted to actually be able to use the acronym that they legally owned. They wanted for people to type in WWF.com and go to their website. And at the time, there wasn't many of us that thought they would pose a big challenge. Oh, were we wrong.
Yeah, I mean, those type of places back then had the money, so they were gonna do what they have to do. Now, growing up, when I heard about the rumors of this company trying to sue WWE or trying to take, or WWF at the time, or take the name from WWF, I thought that they were the World Wildlife Foundation. I didn't know they were the World Wildlife Fund, but so I just found that out probably maybe 5-10 years ago, what they were called. But at the time when I was a kid and I saw like people talking about it, the rumors of it happening, and some people had articles in certain magazines talking about it, to me, I was like, oh, that's not about to happen. And then all of a sudden it happens. And then I see the WWF logo get changed where they take the F off of it. And then they had this weird slogan that said WWE, get the F out of it. And it just didn't feel the same because that logo with the F on it was so synonymous to all the games I loved playing as a kid. No Mercy, WrestleMania 2000, the list goes on to certain wrestlers that I was big fans of. It was just associated with that logo. So when it changed, it wasn't the product, it's just the feeling of the logo that didn't feel the same anymore. And when I saw it was from the World Wildlife Fund, I was like, bro, man, if they don't get out of here and just go buy WWF.net or something like that, bro, you don't need this website. It's not that serious. But I remember back in the day when your business had .com next to it, that let people know that you were legitimate. When you had a .net or anything else, outside of .org, because .org was for like, non-for-profit organizations. When you had a .net, a lot of people didn't take you that seriously because it's like you didn't have enough money. You're not doing that great with your business to the point where you can buy a .com domain. So I can understand why a company would want the .com name, but bro, leave my stuff alone, bro. Why you do that?
So how did the guys backstage feel about the name change? Well, from what my memory serves, we thought World Wrestling Entertainment had a very uphill battle, but that was only because everyone knew and everyone thought of wrestling as WWF. WWF was actually branded. When you heard that title at the time, you thought immediately of wrestling. Well, that is, unless you were with the World Wildlife Fund. But what did that mean? How were we supposed to react? If you had a branded shirt with a logo on it that had WWF anywhere, and in those days, they would have the crest usually in the middle, they were a no-go moving forward. So we went one day being able to wear anything, and the next day being held to a very high standard. And they wanted the name change. They wanted the change to be immediate. They weren't about to allow anything, and I mean anything, with that WWF branded logo moving forward after tonight. Now, Even though we knew this was a historic show, it was still business as usual. Once we came through that garage, we went down here, found a place for our rental cars, got out, and then went down a hall like that to find our locker room, because the fans that were going to fill this arena, they still came for a show. They still wanted to see amazing wrestling action. They, for the most part, probably could care less.
I kind of wonder too, like when after this last show of WWF, the shows going forward, when people, I'm sure they did, because people didn't care back then, all right? The crowds was crazy. Everybody had a sign. I wonder when people came in with signs that said, I missed the WWF or something with the WWF on there, would security try to confiscate those signs so it won't show up on TV because they're dealing with some type of legal action? I'm really interested to know about that.
About the name change. Remember, a town like this, we were probably in one, maybe twice a year. So just like every other night, we knew we had to bring it. And in this arena, the WWF would come to an end.
Dang, that hurts right here, man. I mean, I love WWE right now, but good old days.
So my match
You had to
for
be there.
the last WWF show that we would ever have, yeah, I wasn't in the main event, and that's fine. I'm
Miz versus Kurt Angle.
I mean, Hulk Hogan
Miz versus-
was in the main event.
Some legends on
But
there,
I
man.
was in a tag match. I was in a tag match with my trainer, with
Snow.
Al Snow, and
Billy and Chuck. I forgot
remember,
about them.
at this time, I was terrified still. I was still relatively new. I was still extremely green. And I was fortunate enough to be working with Billy Gunn, who is a legend and who in 2002 was still a veteran. Billy's partner obviously was Chuck Palumbo, and
Yeah.
Palumbo in his own right was still a veteran.
Oh, by the way, when I say I forgot about them, I didn't forget about them as wrestlers. I forgot about them being a tag team. I never really think about that when I think about tag teams in general.
Al, my mentor, was going to make sure that two things happened each and every night. One, I was going to get better every night. Something was going to improve with my wrestling. And the second thing Al was going to be sure of is that I was going to learn something each and every match. And this consisted of, when we went backstage, maybe asking, why I did something, and what I was thinking, good or bad. Now, this could be Al asking me, why did you cut Billy off during that Hope spot? Me giving my reason and him telling that was good, or maybe you want to do it, at this time. The biggest difference of
Man, seeing Al Snow in the ring with a black beard and long hair, bro, just man. The memories, man. The memories back in the day. It's just
wrestling in a house show or non-televised event, as opposed
Sound
to
like an old
wrestling on Raw or SmackDown or a pay-per-view, is just the overall attitude of everybody. Everybody at a live event knows they have to be totally on their game. And if you're doing a Raw or pay-per-view, you know that you don't have any do-overs. You know you don't have the luxury of really learning on the fly. Whereas during the house shows or non-televised event, we could go out, we could take calculated risks, but risks nonetheless, and we could just learn as we go. Now, since I had been in a WWF locker room at this time for a while, the heat that I had was fine. They knew I was there for all the right reasons. They knew that although I wasn't a finished or completed product at this time, that as the weeks progressed, I was getting better week after week. But that doesn't mean that I still wasn't nervous. So I was still terrified in every match we had. It didn't matter. I still had that same sinking pit feeling in the bottom of my stomach. And before our music would hit to go out, every match I still remember thinking, oh, why did I do this? Why am I doing this why did I pick this as a career? And that feeling, I still carry to this day, but that's a feeling that as soon as I go through the curtain, that feeling is gone.
And as we walked out of the locker room as a WWF wrestler for the last time, actually making history, most guys weren't concerned with the name change. In fact, most guys were worried about getting to the next town and figuring out where we were going to eat for the night.
Yeah, it's crazy, like how much they have to put into, like, their own personal traveling and paying for their own food. And I get that's part of the grind, but it's still like when I was a kid, I didn't think they were doing stuff like that. In my mind, I was like, these people are popular, they're on a big show, they're selling all this merch. And I knew every wrestler didn't have this, but I was like, okay, they gotta be flying on planes, because my favorite sports teams had that where they were flying on planes. Some of them, of course, would travel in buses or whatever. And I thought maybe they would get that as well. But hearing the stories down the line where they were like, I would have to drive my car like 9 to 10 hours to here, 9 to 10 hours to here, and 10 wrestlers, we had to pack them in the same car and had to buy stuff from the gas station to eat. It's like kind of crazy to hear those type of stories, as the more and more, you get older. I didn't think about those things as a kid.
For fans leaving this arena that night, it was a sentimental time. They had just witnessed the last show in the WWF's history.
I wonder if anybody
But
got merch from that
for the boys,
show.
for us, it was just another one down and on to the next show. And to see me break down the difference between the Raw and SmackDown locker room, click the link on screen.
Wow. Good informative video. It feels like when I was younger, when they used to roll out the TV on Fridays. This is what it gave me, that type of vibe, like that National Geographic type of thing going on here. He got a great voice for this type of stuff. But anyway, what do you guys think? What is your favorite matches from WWF? What is your favorite moments? What's your favorite t-shirts? Just anything from the WWF era, just let me know in the comment section. It doesn't have to be on subject. I just want to know what you guys are thinking. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Salute, peace, have a good day.